Hello there, I'm Mrs. Groovy Groves and I'm here to help you with lesson 10 practice problems. Remember that I only would like you guys to focus on problems 1, 2, and 4. The rest of the problems were a little odd. So on number 1, it says for each problem decide whether the circumference of the circle or the area of the circle is most useful for finding a solution. Explain your reasoning. A cartwheel spin at 1,000 revolutions per minute. You want to know how fast the car is traveling. Okay, is this referring to circumference or area? What would be most useful to understand? Well, this would be circumference because it's talking about the wheels spinning and it's talking about rotations. And if we know how many rotations it's spinning at a certain time, then we're able to calculate how fast the car would be going. B, a circular kitchen table has a diameter of 60 inches. You want to know how much fabric is needed to cover the tabletop. All right, so they told us that it's a diameter of 60 and we need to cover the tabletop. Okay, so I think you would know that this would be more of an area problem because, and you can say whatever reason that you want. Area because the fabric will cover the entire table. I don't know. You can say it, like I said, however you want to say it. C, a circular puzzle is 20 inches in diameter. Okay. Let's see. I think it's important to draw what that means. So we have a circular table, circular puzzle with a 20 inches of diameter. Oh, and we probably should have drawn this one too. So a diameter of 60. Okay, so we have 20 inches of diameter. All of the pieces are about the same size. You want to know about how many pieces there are in the puzzle. Okay, so, the puzzle is like the inside, all of the pieces. So what this problem is referring to is area. Because the puzzle pieces make up the entire puzzle. Okay, you want to know about how long it takes to walk around a circular pond. Okay, so we have a pond and it's filled with water and we want to walk around it. So if we're talking about walking around, then we're talking about circumference. Because let's say because the problem is referring to the outside of a circular pond, which is circumference. Okay, number 2, it says the face of a clock has a circumference of 63 inches. What is the area of the face of the clock? All right, so let's read that again. It has a circumference of 63, and what we want to know is the area. This is what we're trying to look for. Okay, so let's draw out what we have. We got a clock, and it says that the circumference is 63. Okay, so when I know that my formula for circumference is C equals pi d. So I know the circumference is 63, so I'm going to plug that in. And I have 63 is approximately equal to 3.14D. So I do want to solve the diameter, because if I solve the diameter, I can solve the radius. So what I need to do to both sides is I need to divide by 3.14. And this ends up canceling right here since it equals 1. And I have D to be approximately 20. So if the diameter of the circle is 20, if D equals 20, then that means R would have to equal 10. And now I can run my area of a circle formula, which is times area times area equals pi times r squared. So I have about, hold on a second, I'm going to do approximation, 3.14 times 10 squared. 10 times 10 is 100, and 3.14 times 100 is 314 square inches. That would be my final answer. Okay, number 4. Here's a diagram of a softball field. About how long is the fence around the field? Okay, so around the field is a fence. So this is kind of like, this is like the perimeter, it's basically like you're solving like what's the perimeter. So let's use some logic and common sense. If this is 250, then this would be 250 as well, okay? So this is 250 feet. And now I want to know the distance of this right here, this 1/4 of a circle. So what we're going to do is we're going to add up these two sides here. So I'm going to have 250 plus 250. Okay, hold on, I'm just looking at my notes, sorry. 250 plus 250 is 500, okay? And then we're going to do C equals pi d. I'm going to do this over here, C equals pi d. So I have approximately 3.14, and now we need to figure out the diameter of the circle. So from this, I can see that this, if this was, since this is a quarter of a circle, this in red would be the radius. So the radius would be 250. If the radius is 250, then that means the diameter would be 500. So I'm going to substitute 500 times 3.14. 500 times 3.14 is 1,570. Okay. Let me double check on my calculator one more time. 3.14 times 500. Okay, now I'm going to divide this by 4 because it's 1/4 of a circle. So 1570 divided by 4 is approximately 392.50. Okay, but let's just say 393, you know. So it was 392.50, but we can go to the nearest whole number. So, all right, now we're ready for this. So now we found this was 250, that's 500. We just figured out that this 1/4 of a circle would be 393. So what we're going to do is we're going to add up the 500 plus the 393 for a final answer. It's going to be about 893 feet. All right, and then on B, it says about how big is the outfield, okay? About how big is the outfield. So this is now talking about an area problem because we have the infield, which is not like a perfect circle, but we're gonna treat it as a perfect circle. And then we're going to have like the outside circle. You know what I'm saying? So let's find the area of the outsides of the outfield, and we're going to divide that by 4. And then we have the area of the infield. So All right, let's start with the outfield. So we have area of a circle is equal to pi times r squared. So I have 3.14 times 250 squared, because don't forget that the radius was 250 here. So 250 squared is 62,500, and that number times 3.14 is 196,250. But that's the area of one entire circle. We only have 1/4, okay? Remember, this is what I'm doing right now. We're finding the area of 1/4 of a circle. So we're gonna divide this by 4. And the 1/4 of the circle area of the outfield, let's just take it to the nearest whole number. It would be 49,063, okay? Now we need to find the area of the infield. Now this is the diameter, would be 110. So if the diameter is 110, that means the radius would be 55, okay? So I'm gonna have to write a little bit smaller, okay? I'm gonna write in a different color too. So I have area of my infield is equal to pi times r squared. So we would have 3.14 times 55 squared. 55 squared would be, oh no, this timer is going off and distracting me. 3,025. And if you do 3,025, 3,025 times 3.14, you would get approximately 9,499. So that would be the area of the infield. And they didn't tell us to treat this as a normal circle, but we're just approximating. So we're going to treat it as a one full circle. So we're going to take this quarter circle area minus the infield circle area, and we're going to get a final answer. So I have 49063 minus 9499. All right, let's do the math. 49063 minus 9499. And I would get 39,564 feet squared. Ooh, this was a little bit of a challenging problem, but we made it. All right, that is the end. I hope I have helped you. This is Mrs. Groovy Grove signing out. Have a wonderful day.